It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. If you're just catching me on the air for the first time this morning, keep in mind you can catch this show here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And this show is all about our business owners and entrepreneurs in and around the Tampa Bay region, making a difference in our community. And so this show has a very positive message. This is not another political talk show. This is a show that's about what's right with Tampa Bay. So I invite you to please tune in each weekday here at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And also, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or a community leader, or you just got a great story to tell, I invite you on my show. Send me a quick email with a quick pitch of what it is that you do and why you'd like to make an appearance. And there is no charge, so don't let that stop you. Feel free to send me an email, jamie@tampabayradio.com. Again, jamie@tampabayradio.com. Also, you can learn more about this show over at my website, tampabayradio.com. Also, you can find me on all the different social networking sites, facebook.com/thatbusinessshow. Also, I'm over on Twitter under Jamie_Meloni. And you can listen to the show on demand on tampabayradio.com as well. And also, I'm up on iTunes. Just search for That Business Show. Got a great show planned for you today. Today, we're going to be talking all about insurance. I've got three people from the firm of Wallace, Welch, and Willingham in studio today. So we're going to be chatting with the three people in studio today about a little bit about Obamacare, maybe a little property insurance, marine insurance, whatever probably hit all the different areas of insurance, to some degree a little bit on this show. So let me go ahead and bring in my guests with, again, Wallace, Welch, and Willingham. They're an insurance firm based in St. Petersburg. I've got Ken Jones, who is a business development coordinator with Wallace, Welch, and Willingham. He had graduated with a degree in communications from North Texas State University, and he's joined in studio with Joseph Papich, who leads the plan design and consultation process to secure the most appropriate coverages for clients and advises clients on health care reform. And also Billy Bowman, who began her career with Wallace, Welch, and Willingham in 1989 and works with clients on advising them on high net worth clients, basically. So everybody, welcome to the show today.
Good morning.
So, Ken, I will start with you. Tell me a little bit more about yourself and the firm of Wallace, Welch, and Willingham.
Well, Jamie, thanks for having us on again this morning. But I grew up in Texas, as North Texas State University, graduated with communications, so I'm feeling really at home here in the studio.
Yeah, you have a little bit of background in radio, correct? Yeah, what did you do?
Well, I ran what I call Drive Time FM for a small radio station at our North Texas State University campus, and it's funny because we had 440 watts of power with our transmitter, and the average blow dryer has about 1,200,
right?
If you give you an idea. And it was fun. I learned a lot, and then actually went on to start a mobile disc jockey business back then, and that was a lot of fun because you're around late hours, alcohol, and college co-ed, so what could possibly be better than that?
Insurance. There you go. Well, we're in the insurance industry.
One of the things I always said when I looked, and some of your entrepreneurs listening in this morning, is in business, all I ever really wanted was an unfair advantage. Mm-hmm. And insurance is one of those fields where the last bastion of barriers of entry to money making has gone away, because insurance is a renewable product.
Right.
You don't sell it once. You sell it over and over and over again, especially if you work with an agency that has a high retention rate. And if you take care of your clients, if you offer them great service with great products, why would they ever go anywhere else?
Right.
So the beauty of insurance is that you get in it in year one, you sell your policies. In year two, those policies renew, right? Mm-hmm. Then you sell new policies in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. But every previous year, the premiums are renewing. So it's a great way to create a living for yourself, and not only that, but
one thing I find myself with insurance is once I've bought an insurance policy, I kind of forget about it. Do you see that with other people and your clients, or it's not something I really follow up on each year? It's like, all right, I got homeowners insurance and I just pay the premium. Same with the auto insurance. I really don't shop that around. What do you see with clients?
You have different strokes for different folks. A lot of folks just let it go on autopilot if they're comfortable with their agent, that their agent is looking, for their best interest every year. And what I mean by that is shopping it around, because there are many different carriers and things are constantly changing in this industry, as we discussed earlier before we went on camera and on air. And if you have that kind of a trust relationship with your agent, every now and then again, they need to let you know that they are looking out for your best interest. On renewals, I know that Billy will show the client that the carrier they're with is coming in at a good premium with good coverage from the previous year, but she also went outside and took a look at some other carriers just so that they knew that she was doing her job and looking out for her best interest.
And Billy Bowman here, she specializes with clients of high net worth and helping them, retain their assets and protect their assets and investments. So, Billy, tell me a little bit more about your background and what you do as well at Wallace, Welch Willingham.
I've been with the agency since 1989. I deal in the personal insurance, which is your home, auto, some small life policies, liability, flood, all of the personal products that someone.
Are you a lifelong insurance person, or do you make the transition from a more entertaining field, I should say?
I'm a lifelong insurance person.
So what do you like about insurance and stuff? I mean, is it sort of along the lines of Ken, where you kind of get in there and you kind of got this renewable product that comes in year after year? What keeps you in the insurance business other than the paycheck?
I work for a great organization. I love what I do, and I'm helping people.
Yeah. Let me go over to Joseph Papich, also with Wallace, Welch, and Willingham. That's it, Papich, right? Papich.
Right.
A little bit of a tongue twister there.
JP is kind of
an
easier way to do it.
I'm just going to call you JP here on out. So tell me more about your background in insurance and your role over at Wallace, Welch, and Willingham.
Sure. Well, I lead the select business unit for our employee benefits division, which means I help individuals and small businesses with their employee benefits plans. I started there 8 years ago, and before that I had done a couple of different opportunities other than insurance. And when I started with Wallace, Welch, and Willingham, I went back to what my dad told me when I was a kid. He said, get a good job with good benefits.
Right.
He was a state police officer in Pennsylvania. And we know those pension plans that they retired with are becoming fewer and farther between, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of nice to think that I help other people with their employee benefits. And I think that employee benefits is a great way for an employer to show how much they appreciate their employees.
Right.
Because the highest skilled employees will gravitate to the employers that show their appreciation. Yeah. So it's a great field.
It's funny you bring up the point there that your father said, get a great job with benefits, because my father preached the same thing to me. And for years I worked in industry at Mosaic, which was Cario before that, and I had a real good job with real good benefits, and it was a real stable job. I was making between $40,000 and $50,000 a year with good overtime, and then in 2006 I decided to get out of the business altogether and go into real estate at the worst possible time. People that don't know, maybe finding the show for the first time, I sell real estate. I'm a specialist in foreclosure sales, and I remember telling my dad in 2006, I'm quitting this job I've had for 6 years, and I'm going to go sell real estate. He's like, do you know what the hell you're doing? He's like, do you know what the market is doing out there? You got a great job, you got benefits. What are you thinking? So
you took the risk.
I took the risk, and that's something I preach a lot on this show about stepping outside of the boundaries and going into something that makes you happy, because working for somebody else in industry wasn't making me happy, and that's how I made that transition into real estate. But that's just funny. I had a similar story. My dad always preached, find a stable job with good benefits, and you'll have a great life. But I took the plunge, and I went in outside of my business into a completely unrelated field. And fortunately it worked out for me. I struggled for the first year. I think I made about $19,000 my first year, but hey, I figured it out. So let's talk about the Affordable Care Act a little bit. I know, Joseph, that's what you specialize in. What are some of the new Affordable Care Act developments that we need to be aware of in the marketplace right now?
Sure. So what we're seeing right now for individuals is a special enrollment period. This is running from March 15th through the end of April, and it's to allow individuals who did not know there was a penalty.
How do you not know that? It's been in every news.
I'm just going to say you have to attest to that,
right?
Okay? Until they completed their taxes,
right?
Okay. So they missed the open enrollment earlier this year, and because Florida has a federally run exchange, they have the opportunity to go only through healthcare.gov and an agent. I'll just say with healthcare.gov, you can absolutely use an agent. It doesn't change the price at all.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how does the insurance
policies.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does the insurance agent come into play with the healthcare exchanges? I mean, I could go to Obamacare.gov or whatever the site is, healthcare.gov, I should say, and find my policy. How does an insurance agent help me with the state exchange?
Sure. When I work with an individual who's looking for an individual policy, and they need to decide whether to buy their policy either on healthcare.gov direct through an insurance carrier, I'm asking them open-ended questions. I'm trying to find out the personality and what their needs are. When you research a policy on healthcare.gov, you're going to find some facts. It seems like the website is working much better this year,
Yeah, I was
and
going
it
to say,
worked very well.
Have they worked out a lot of the glitches that we
Yes.
heard so much about in the beginning? Okay.
Yes, but you have to know what you're looking for in there. So what I really like to do is get down to what's going to be the best option for the individual, not just how do they rank when you order by price, like you do on Amazon.com. Rank by price, lowest to highest.
Right.
You might see deductibles and prescription drugs. You don't really see a network on there, or exactly which prescription drugs are being offered through that insurance carrier. You have to dig a little deeper for that, and that's where I help out.
Now, how are you compensated with somebody that uses healthcare.gov? Does the insurance or carrier still provide you a commission, or does the person getting the insurance have to somehow compensate you? How does that? Do they register an agent basically when they go onto the site? How does that work?
They do tell healthcare.gov that they're working with an agent. Let me put my code in there. The cost to the individual doesn't change whether they use an agent or not, and my commissions are paid by the insurance carrier.
Okay, I was wondering how that works. Is you see people going on these exchanges, without an agent and everything. What is the penalty for people that do not enroll or have health insurance right now? How is the penalty working, and how is that being enforced? Talk to us about that.
Sure. So individuals that are filing their tax return currently, they're filing their 2014 tax return, and the penalty is about 1% of salary. There's other limits in there, family limits. There's a minimum of $90-some that come into play, but generally it's going to be 1% of salary over and above the standard deduction, which is about $10,000. So, and then
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, and then for 2015 that goes up to 2%.
How many policies were you seeing? I heard a lot of my friends. I think I hear a lot more negative than I do positive about this act. I want to get your just personal opinion on that. How many policies were you seeing getting canceled as a result of the new Obamacare Act?
So a lot of policies did get transferred over. So they had to cancel out the old policy and then making them compliant with healthcare reform.
Were you seeing a lot of cancellations? Because I know about 4 or 5 of my friends, close friends, that got cancellation notices in the mail. Was that a large part of the market, or was that a small segment of the market?
I'd say majority of the carriers have already done that. A couple of the carriers are still allowing individuals to keep their policy through the entire transition policy period, which I think goes another year.
Okay. Got to take a quick break. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of Wallace, Welch Willingham, all about insurance. We're talking about Obamacare right now, but we're going to be covering some of the other areas of insurance, from marine and property insurance, here in just a little bit. So please stay tuned. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours. Cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Ever wonder where your charitable donations are really going? At Unbound, you'll know who you're helping and what impact you're having on their life. Connecting people who care with people in need around the world. Learn more at unbound.org.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Because of an earlier crash in Tampa, Nebraska Avenue and Flora, Nebraska Avenue is closed in all directions through this intersection. Still have a serious crash in Clearwater on 19 southbound near Drew Street. The center lane is still blocked. And a stop-and-go ride on the Veterans Expressway from Hutchison most of the way down towards Hillsborough Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamston and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
Partly cloudy, less humid, a 10% rain chance, high 81. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a 10% rain chance, high 83.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Again, catch the show on here weekdays on 1250 WHNZ at 8 a.m., as this show is all about the business owners and entrepreneurs making a difference in the Tampa Bay and regional communities. Also, learn more about the show over at tampabayradio.com as well. Currently talking with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of the insurance firm Wallace, Welch, and Willingham. I don't know, before we go back over to Joseph talking about Obamacare, I want to go over to Ken. I want to learn a little bit more about the history of Wallace, Welch, and Willingham. I will tell you, I look at this and I think that this is an attorney firm. I've never seen an insurance firm with this kind of attorney type of name. So tell me more, though, about this company.
We actually do have a lot of fun with that. I like to tell people I'm the business development coordinator, and what that means is I'm the point man for the agency, and I try to get us involved in different markets and different groups. But I like to let people know that before there was the World Wide Web, there was Wallace, Welch, and Willingham. So we're the original WWW, and we have a long, strong history. We were founded in 1925. So, you know, I had the
So Wallace, Welch, and Willingham are long gone then, right?
Well, we actually, well, our chairman of the board is still there. He puts on a tie and a coat every day and comes in, and he's a delightful individual. You'd love to if you met him. But earlier I talked about having an unfair advantage in business, and I did work for a small agency for 5 years before joining the firm with Wallace, Welch, Willingham. And I can tell you this, is that when you're a large agency, we're just shy of 100 individuals from an employee standpoint. And we attract carriers, and what that means for our clients is that we have a smorgasbord. We have all the major carriers in the state of Florida, and we're licensed in all 50 states. So a lot of times you'll find a business owner that has multiple, business states that he's dealing business in, and we're able to accommodate those needs as well. But some of the things that our agency that I'm proud to share with your audience is that we were voted one of the best places to work in Tampa Bay by the Business Journal, one of the top places to work. And we've also was awarded the Bright House Regional Business Award for the top 10 finalists, and one of the best places to work by the Tampa Bay Business Journal. So it's a great agency. It's great people, as Billy attested to earlier. She's been there 25 years. So, and she has all that skill set and the knowledge to be able to go anywhere she wants, and she chooses to stay with us. So it's a great agency, and we're able to represent all the right carriers for all of our clients.
No, congratulations on those awards. And also, we're here talking with Wallace, Welch, and Willingham representatives, and you can learn more about them over at the website w3ins.com. Again, w3ins.com, so you can get some more information from them if you're just tuning into the show and also after the fact. And I want to go back over to Joseph Papich. We were talking about Obamacare before the break. So, Joseph, tell me, what is really going on with premiums in health care? Is this new Affordable Care Act, pushing these things up or down? down for the average person? Talk to me about what's going on, with the premiums.
I like that question because I always go back to when healthcare reform was first passed and before we actually saw the new plans come out and all the rate impacts the last couple of years. And in between that period, depending what media you saw, you heard rates are going through the roof.
Right.
Rates will go down.
It depends on if you're watching
Right.
MSNBC or Fox. I know.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we heard both, and who was right? Well, they were both right about the actual rate. I think that the difference is that a lot of the impacts of healthcare reform did add cost to the system. There were additional coverages. Additional coverages means additional cost, right? And then we had these premium subsidies, which for some individuals, if you fit into that niche of where the government will hand out a subsidy, then you have a lower rate. So it might look lower, but the actual cost of care continues to rise. And it's actually rising percentage-wise a little less each year than it did previous to healthcare reform, but it's still rising, and it's still spiraling a lot, over twice as much as normal inflation.
Talk to me a little bit about these subsidies. Where do the subsidies kick in for the people, and where is this law mostly benefiting in terms of income for people? Where people are making what income levels?
Sure. So the subsidies here in Florida start at an income for a household of one at $11,600. Okay, so and that goes up to about 46,000. And for that household of one, they could qualify for a premium tax credit. And at the lower ends, they could also qualify to have their policy made into a better policy. It's called cost share reduction. So their deductible becomes lower, or their coinsurance gets better. So that's available to them as well. And that's really where the biggest impact has been. And I just mentioned here in Florida, that bottom number, 11.6, that does leave a lot of the population out of the market still to afford health insurance. Mm-hmm. As you know, in Florida, we did not expand Medicaid. There's current discussions again this year in the legislature to expand coverage. They've kind of changed the rhetoric from expansion of Medicaid to expansion of coverage, and that's federal money that is out there that could be used to help those individuals that are earning that below that 11.6, which are currently not supported through the exchange model.
Now, what should employers be doing to stay in compliance? I know this is a big concern for a lot of the small business owners, the people that only have like 4 and 5 employees up. And I think it goes up to 50 or something. Or what? Talk to me a little bit about what employers need to know with regards to this Affordable Care Act, at least some of the main bullet points right now.
Sure. So for a small employer, I'll use that characterizing 2 to 50, and then for a large employer and middle market, we'll just say 50 and above. We'll call those large employers, right? Mm-hmm. So right now they're going through reporting processes that they have to prepare for the 2015 tax returns. This is information that they're going to need to prepare and submit over to through their taxes in early 2016. The reports that they have to make on individual members of their employer group, and then also a consolidated report that needs to be submitted with by, I think, the end of February of 2016 to report who had access to coverage under their group plan, right? So for small employers, that 2 to 50 segment, the insurance carrier is going to be doing that reporting for them. Over 50, the employer is going to have to do that. So this is going to take into account their payroll systems, their agent, and them getting together and devising a plan now so that they're ready and have that information tracked for the end of the year so that they know what they're going to do to get those reports, because it happens pretty immediately.
And in myself, I have a couple of employees, so is this something that I need to be aware of also? And it's just this something I need to have my accountant help me with and my insurance agent also? Do I have some responsibilities under the
So
Affordable
if you're
Care Act?
offering them insurance through your group, why aren't I your agent?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just met you. You just come in here. I met Ken if you...
And number two, for that number of employees, that's something the insurance carrier is going to handle for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk more after the show. Yeah, because as an employer, I definitely have a lot more questions here, and we're about to run into another break here. Got to take another quick break again, but we're talking with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of the insurance firm Wallace, Welch Willingham here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking a lot more about insurance, so please stay tuned. And again, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
To help keep our facility safe and our people safer. Now pass me one of those safety donuts over there. Call clickgranger.com/safety or stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Recently, I was reflecting on my career, my cases, and all of the families and people I've met along the way. When I was in law school at the University of Florida, I had a real desire to help people and decided to practice personal injury work after I saw the help my brother received when he was paralyzed in an accident at the age of 18. My firm is now over 20 years old, and we have represented hundreds of thousands of people. I have met you in the hospital after a devastating injury on the job. We have met in my offices after a medical mistake resulted in an injury or death. I've been to so many homes, thousands, and sometimes, unfortunately, sat at kitchen tables and consoled families after the sudden loss of a loved one. I have traveled this journey to justice with so many of you. And remember this, I'm not just a lawyer, I'm your lawyer. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Offices Tampa.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Join Unbound in seeing that every child has a chance to complete their education. Unlock the greatest natural resource, the power of an educated child to change the world. Sponsor a child at unbound.org.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Because of an earlier crash in Tampa, Nebraska Avenue and Flora-Nebraska Avenue is closed in all directions through this intersection. Still have a serious crash in Clearwater on 19 southbound near Drew Street. The center lane is still blocked. And a stop-and-go ride on the Veterans Expressway from Hutchison most of the way down towards Hillsborough Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
1250 Winds Weather Center forecast. We'll see the sunshine back today. A few scattered clouds. No rain in the forecast. Low 80s for the high. Tonight's lows in the mid-60s. Impact Radio 1250 Winds WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Currently talk with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of the insurance firm Wallace, Welch Willingham, based over in St. Petersburg, and learn more about them. And you get a quote over at their website, w3ins.com. Again, w3ins.com. Also, we'll get that up on the show recap after the show, as with all my shows. If you head over to tampabayradio.com after the show, you'll see my blog or the show recaps page. So all the information that comes out over the airwaves, a lot of the main talking points, websites, and promotions that come out, you can always find those again over on tampabayradio.com under the show recaps page. So I want to head over to Billy Bowman here. She's also in studio with us, and she specializes in homeowners and flood insurance. So I want to talk to her a little bit more about these topics. So let's open up with the flood insurance, because that was something that I covered a lot on when I was doing my real estate show over a year ago, with the reforms going on in Florida with regards to flood insurance, policies and things of that nature. What are some of the developments right now with flood insurance, and what's going on in that market?
Rates are going to continue to rise, even though they did have an act that reduced those premiums, but they're still going to continue to rise. And
now we got an extension to that, the Flood Insurance Reform Act that came out. So talk to me a little bit about that. How far did that push these new rate maps basically out? So how is that affecting homeowners right now?
They're still mapping. There's been some changes as far as the rates going up. Truly, the pre-firm properties, which is 1975 and prior, they don't need to be rated on an elevation certificate like they once thought they would. There's going to be subsidized rates for them.
Now, we were going to see rates climb exponentially to some homeowners a little bit, and a lot of people didn't understand why. Talk to me a little bit about how the flood insurance management program works and FEMA and all that, why rates are kept artificially low. Tell me a little bit about that.
That goes into the government subsidizing some of those properties and not being actuarially rated based on the true flood elevation that they're in. Each individual property has a certain elevation against the base flood elevation that FEMA sets. Some are below what the elevation requirements are. Some are built above, depending on the building code changes.
And so a lot of homes in South Tampa and St. Petersburg were going to be affected drastically by this change. And luckily, we got an extension to this, I think about a 5-year...
4-year study.
Yeah, 4-year study, because I think I talked to a couple of insurance agents last year, and some people were going to see their rates triple and quadruple even in some of the areas. And people out on the islands and the Keys, things of those nature, I mean, their rates are going to be like $40,000, $50,000.
Yes,
it was going to be unmanageable. So fortunately we got that pushed out. But is this something that's you're probably going to come back to bite us down the line?
I would think so. The program is not financially sound as it is, and they need to. And it's not our area, truly. It's other states. It's a national program, but Pinellas County is the highest affected county in the nation, and.
Now, talk to me about the difference between flood insurance and homeowners insurance. A lot of people don't realize just because they have homeowners insurance, they're not protected by floods because flood is, again, a national, management program that's, funded by, the federal government. So talk to me about, what people need to know with regard to homeowners insurance versus flood insurance.
Flood insurance is going to be your rising water, wave wash, tidal surge type losses. The homeowners is going to be your fire, theft, liability type coverages, completely different. If you have homeowners, sometimes you don't need flood. Your mortgage, if you're in a special hazard area for flood insurance, they're going to require that you carry flood insurance, but it's not necessary in all cases.
Now, how much homeowners insurance should one have when they're buying a property? I mean, how do what type of insurance, or how much insurance, I should say, do you need on a property?
You're going to have to insure your home 100% to the replacement cost value of the home. We're not insuring for market value. We're not insuring for assessed value. We're insuring for what it would cost to replace that home, same like, kind, and quality at today's prices.
Now, talk to me about replacement value versus, what's the other one?
Market value.
Market value. Talk to me about those two different terms. You hear those thrown around by insurance agents all the time. What are the differences between those two? What is replacement cost versus, market cost?
Market cost is what you're going to sell the house for, or what you're going to buy the house for. Replacement value is what it's going to cost to actually replace that home due to a covered loss.
Now, is that something, when you're buying an insurance policy, does people are all the insurance policies based on the replacement cost?
We're required to insure 100% to replacement cost value.
Okay, but
on all homeowners.
Okay, but people can get the market value if they want to pay more then, correct?
You can get an endorsement on the policy depending on carrier that may allow you to insure at a higher limit, but it's not going to insure to whatever value you want.
Okay, great information. Let me go back over to Joseph Papich. We were talking about the Affordable Care Act before the bottom of the hour break, and there's a lot of questions surrounding Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. First thing I want to know is the Affordable Care Act here to stay? You hear so much in the news about the politicians repealing Obamacare. We got Ted Cruz, who just announced his bid for the Republican ticket, and his main thing is to repeal Obamacare. Right. Is this stuff here to stay?
I think we'll certainly be hearing a lot more about that for the next 2 years. I think as a whole, though, the act itself will not get entirely repealed. We're going to see a lot of changes, and we currently are seeing a lot of changes. And then that'll carry throughout years and years to come. The act, as controversial as it is, has helped some. It has hurt some others. I think as a whole, it'd be kind of hard to get everybody behind repealing it.
Now, what are people that are, going to buy a policy? What are some of the main things that people need to know about the Affordable Care Act when they're purchasing a new policy right now?
Sure. An individual will want to know whether they're going to buy through the exchange or through directly through a carrier. That's something that I can help them out with. Generally, the policies are the same, whether you go through healthcare.gov or direct through the insurance carrier. There are some differences. The main reason to go through healthcare.gov would be if you qualify for that tax credit, and also if you qualify for the special enrollment for not knowing there was a penalty while you filed your taxes this year. Because that's the only location you can get that exception.
Go ahead. I'm going to cut you off.
Sure. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say now under the Affordable Care Act, children of people can remain on their parents' insurance policy up till age 26 now. Correct?
Right.
How does that? Do you have to do anything other than just be up to age 26? Does it matter if you're in college or working or not? I mean, talk to me a little bit about this.
The age 26 doesn't have any stipulations on that.
There is no
for
stipulation,
children.
so it doesn't matter, if you're working or not working, or if you have access to health care through your employer, you can still remain on your parents' policy no matter what.
Right. Now, in Florida, we have additional laws, and for this case, it's up to age 30 for group policy. So if your child after the age of 26 doesn't have opportunity to get coverage through their own employer, is in school, is a dependent, it doesn't have any dependents of their own, they can stay in your policy up to age 30, and that's a Florida law.
Age 30?
Yes.
That's just a Florida thing?
That's a Florida thing.
That's incredible. I couldn't imagine staying on my parents' policy at age 30. I was 18 and I got the hell out of the house.
Well, going for a doctorate, I don't know.
It's like, if you're 30 years old and you're still on your parents' policy, I mean, come on, man. That's...
Well, I think you're going for your doctorate at that point. You're going to be taking care of your parents well into their 80s.
Well, if you're in,
there's a little give and take,
in a medical
expectation.
Yeah, if you're in some type of program of study, I can understand if you're studying for a doctorate or something. I can understand that. But I mean, there's no stipulation upon that law, is there? Whether what you're doing. I mean, you're saying you can be up to age 30, sitting on the couch, smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer every single morning and staying on the parents' policy. I mean, is that?
They're not going to come to your home and check that part out.
Man, that's crazy, man. That's the nanny state we hear so much about, and it just drives me crazy. Here I am, age 18, got the hell out of the house and found my way, and people age 30 still kicking back. Oh, government this or the man that. I can't figure all this stuff out. It just drives me crazy. I don't know. You just got to get out there and do stuff. So, anyways, how does Medicaid and Medicare come into play with Obamacare? We touched on that briefly a little bit, but I mean, Medicaid is. It was not renewed, or what was the...
Wasn't expanded here in Florida.
Wasn't expanded. So how does Medicaid and Medicare tie into Obamacare?
I think I said earlier that the expansion of Medicaid or the expansion of coverage in Florida was federally funded. I need to correct that. That's partially federal funded. There are some state money that needs to come into play with that over time as well. So that's certainly a concern there with expanding Medicaid to more of our adult population that currently here in Florida only gets served if you have a dependent child, or if you're a caretaker of those individuals, pregnant, or a child yourself. So that's where Medicaid serves. And then Medicare serves our seniors and our disabled that have enough credits for that Social Security, disability, and Medicare. So I think the big thing right now that's going on with Medicare is a government program that is trying to figure out if these accountable care organizations will actually help save some claims dollars.
Okay.
So this is right now under a pilot program. We have a couple ACOs that are currently running here in the Tampa Bay area. They're generally going to be started through physician's office, though they're so expensive to kind of start. We're going to see a lot of insurance companies and large hospital chains getting into this as well. It's our expectation. And the ACO model basically shows a payment for services based on results. So a lot of times now we see fee-for-service payments, and that's how you get an x-ray, the doctor gets paid for that x-ray. I like to use the example that I've been in the ER before, and I've gone to an urgent care center. I have the x-ray in my hand in the ER, and they tell me, well, we take our own x-rays here. So all of a sudden you have a duplicate claim that is being put into the system, and the member is responsible for the urgent care and the ER. Well, in an ACO model, we're talking about more of an integration. And by not having duplicate claims, we actually can reward the physicians and the companies involved in that individual's care based on actual results and not just fee-for-service.
Let me go back over to Ken Jones, also with Wallace, Welch Willingham, and we're talking about Obamacare, a little bit about property insurance. Another thing that your firm specializes in, marine insurance. Tell me about this program.
Can you imagine a better industry to insure than boats in Florida?
Come on,
we got all that coastal area, but one of the great things about our agency is that we have a division that just works only on marine risk, and by that I mean recreational, and I'm talking about the boats that you and I see out on the water every single day. And Florida is a state where marine insurance is not mandatory, so that means it's not state governed, and there aren't any two carriers, Jamie, that write boat insurance the same way. So that's why it's really prudent to have an agent to be able to sit down and discuss with you the options. A lot of people don't think they have to have a boat insurance, so they don't buy it. But, you know, it's not even the replacement of the boat that's important. You know what's important about boat insurance is the liability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hear it all the time. You know, somebody gets involved in an accident out on the water with a jet ski. Somebody is injured. You're either insuring yourself or you have a company insuring you. And as an aside, you know the Captain Memo pirate ship that you see down in Clearwater all the time?
Yes.
We insure him.
Oh, cool.
You know, you think there's some liability with people on a boat drinking beer with water balloons?
Right. That's something I'd never thought of. I mean, auto insurance is something you got to have, you know, regardless. But you're saying boat insurance is not something that we have to have unless you have, I guess, a loan against it.
Yeah, sometimes there's going to be it's similar to a finance. You'll have to have coverage. But a lot of folks, you know what, we even sell liability only. Somebody might have an older boat that they're not worried about replacing if it's damaged.
And how are the rates on boat policies versus the auto and cars and things of that nature? Are they comparable? Are they a lot higher in the boating business? I mean,
it's not really. It's all just based on a lot of factors. And here's why some people don't really necessarily feel like they're getting a good value is they don't have it explained to them. When you go on an 800 number or a website and you get a quote, you really don't know why somebody's is so much less than somebody else's. But then you learn things like consequential damage. You know what that is? That's one of those small things where you might have a $40 bilge pump that fails, and because it fails, your boat fills up with water and sinks.
Right.
Well, guess what? Wear and tear is not covered.
No, really.
So if the bilge pump failed because of wear and tear, your bad insurance carrier might deny the claim, and your $300,000 boat sunk for a $40 bilge pump.
Wow.
You need to know about those.
Yeah, that's why you got to have
things.
that personal relationship with the insurance agent. Obviously, that's something. If I were to go out there and buy a boat, I wouldn't think of stuff like that. And a lot of people who buy boats do it on a whim too. They don't know all the little intricacies like that.
And the other huge thing that's starting to come about now is a lot of claims are being denied if the owner of the boat is impaired. You know what I mean by impaired?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
You used to get a boat key, a life jacket, and a 12-pack of beer, and away you'd go.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you need to just be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to take another quick break. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of the insurance firm Wallace, Welch Willingham, and you can learn more about them over at their website, w3ins.com. Again, that's w3ins.com. And again, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I'm a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
This report is brought to you by iHeartMedia.
Looking for a way to increase your business? Ever thought about advertising on radio? iHeartMedia can customize a campaign to meet your specific needs. Call 844-BUY-RADIO. That's 844-BUY-RADIO. Or go to iHeartMedia.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Because of an earlier crash in Tampa, Nebraska Avenue and Florida-Nebraska Avenue is closed in all directions through this intersection. Still the serious crash in Clearwater on 19 southbound near Drew Street. The center lane is still blocked. And a stop-and-go ride on the Veterans Expressway from Hutchison most of the way down towards Hillsborough Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udelwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
Partly cloudy, less humid, a 10% rain chance, high 81. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 64. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a 10% rain chance, high 83.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where, again, business becomes show business. Learn more about my show over at TampaBayRadio.com, and also be sure to tune in here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, as this show is all about the business owners and entrepreneurs making a difference in our community. This is not another talking head political show or another show with some, as I call them, professional complainers behind the microphone talking about, why Obama did this or why the Republicans shouldn't be doing that. I get tired of hearing that type of stuff. So I wanted to make a difference and do something positive for the community, and what better way to get the to express positivity than talking about our business owners and entrepreneurs that are out there making a difference. And you find a lot of the people out there are not as inundated with all this political nonsense that you hear on the airwaves every single day. We're out here just getting the jobs done and making a difference in our community, and that's what this show is all about. Also, if you're a business owner and entrepreneur looking to highlight your business on the airwaves here, feel free to reach out to me, Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com. Just send me an email with a quick pitch of what it is that you do. There is no charge, so don't let that stop you. I want to hear from you. Again, Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com. We're talking with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of the St. Petersburg-based insurance firm Wallace, Welch Willingham in studio today. And Billy, I want to go over now. I want to touch on auto insurance and some of the changes in the industry. Talk to me about the importance of auto insurance and the components of that, and who needs auto insurance and why.
Well, obviously, anyone who owns a vehicle needs to have auto insurance, and Florida law only requires that you carry PIP and property damage liability. So in the state, if you were to injure somebody and you didn't have bodily injury coverage, they're going to come after you personally. A lot of people don't realize, they just say, I need full coverage, not understanding what full coverage really is. Bodily injury liability is very, very important to protect your assets and future earnings in the event that you were to injure, or God forbid, kill another person in an accident.
You hear the term no-fault state thrown around a lot, and to me, if it's no fault, it means your insurance pays you, my insurance pays me. So how do we get this cross between my insurance agent suing your insurance carrier, when we have an accident, or if it's a no-fault state? I've never really understood that.
Well, first of all, in the state of Florida, if there is an accident and there's injuries, your injuries come under your own PIP first. And then, depending on who's at fault, is where the bodily injury would come in from the other party. So if we had an accident, you were at fault, my injuries went over my PIP limit, I'm going to come after you for bodily injury under your policy.
So that's how that works. So the no fault has limits then.
Absolutely. $10,000 is the basic Florida limit.
And we hear a lot in the news now with these 1-800 Ask Bill, Dick, or Harry on the phones there, whoever it is. Maybe I'm going to start 1-800 Ask Jamie. Just drop the E off the name so it fits with the phone number there. But the new law with time you got to file a claim. Talk to me about what consumers need to know when they're in an auto accident now with this new law.
Basically, you have 14 days to file a injury claim under your PIP.
14 days, and that's it? I mean, is there anything else you need to know? I mean, is it after the 14 days, is it pretty much you're done?
I don't really get too involved in the claims process, Jamie, but I would imagine that's pretty much how it's going to work.
Jamie, that's Florida leads the United States in auto insurance fraud.
Right.
Okay? I mean, when you drive up and down any major highway, most of the billboards that you see are for attorneys, and there's a reason for that, and that's why they've lowered that. They just, there's so many frivolous lawsuits out there involving small little, rear end accidents where they're really not injured, but they subrogate. It's exploding. It's costing everybody more money.
Right.
Just to elaborate,
Yeah. It's easy to stage accidents. Do you say a lot of them slip through the system then?
Of course they do. There's just not enough manpower to stay in touch. So they decided rather than having these things go on and on and on, because you can certainly develop symptoms, but you're going to know within a couple of weeks if you've been injured at the scene of the accident. You don't have to go home and talk to 20 people so they can talk you into,
That's generally what happens.
Sure it is. Didn't you really? It's not you that goes home and sues. It's usually your friends that say, there's money there. Go after. It's not you. You're going after the insurance carrier
that have already done the same thing.
Sure. It's contagious.
Yeah, it's a shame that we have so many scam artists out there.
Absolutely.
And you say that Florida leads the area for the nation, I should say, and for auto insurance fraud. We also have a big problem with mortgage fraud in my real estate practice and stuff. We see that all over. So I guess all the scam artists and
this
fraudsters,
is far south as they can go.
they come down to Florida. And I used to joke all the time when I used to watch America Was Most Wanted. One of my favorite shows before they pulled it. I think it's on another network now. But it seems like all the criminals came to Florida. It's like they apprehended in Florida this week, so and so apprehended. And it was they all come to Florida, so it's not just a state for retirees, it's a state for criminals as well. So.
A lot of money down here, that's for sure, to go after them.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a couple minutes left here, and Ken, I want to talk a little bit about a little bit more about the firm Wallace, Welch Willingham. You all sound like a one-stop shop for insurance. So tell me a little bit more about the products that you offer and how people can get more information on insurance with your firm.
It's easy if you tell a story. Think of a scenario where a person owns a condominium. Maybe it's a high-rise, 4th or 5th, and it's worth a lot of money, and they have a lot of valuable possessions. They're going to insure their condo. They're going to insure their valuables. They probably have a couple of autos. They probably have a boat. The individual might own a business or several businesses. He may have a retirement income. He may be a high net worth individual. We're, in a sense, a one-stop shop. We want to be that client's go-to insurance agency for all their insurance needs, for their health care, for their life insurance. We haven't even talked about life insurance. More people buy a guarantee on their cell phone than buy life insurance? Think about that. And when the best time to buy life insurance is when you don't need it. It's when you're young. And then it stays with you. And that's probably a subject for a whole nother show. But we invite people to call our agency to talk to an advisor. We're not called agents, we're advisors because we do get advice. We may be the first person to tell you that the coverage you have is great. No need to change. But on the other hand, we review your policies free of charge, and then we'll give you our advice back and make a determination, let the individual
and
make
you also
a determination.
insure off the wall. So I mean, we were talking about that a little bit. Lloyd's of London, you can help people out with the insurance of hands and voices if they're singers, things of that nature. So you're a one-stop shop for all your insurance needs, whether it's the health care and life insurance over to auto and marine, and then the crazy stuff like your hand or your voice if your job depends on it as well. People don't realize you can insure pretty much anything if you're willing to pay the premium.
That's for sure.
Hey, I want to thank you all very much for coming to the studio today. A great conversation, and again, thank you all very much.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yep, absolutely. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking with Joseph Papich, Billy Bowman, and Ken Jones of the insurance firm Wallace, Welch in Willingham, and learn more about them over the website w3ins.com. Again, w3ins.com. Hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and again, tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. to hear That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.